The XFL, I had mentioned earlier that football's now over with the completion of the Super Bowl. Clark chimed in on the monitor here saying, well, the XFL starts this weekend. And who's kidding who? I'll watch, although I'm heading into a very fun February, and somebody around here was saying the same thing about themselves. For me, myself, in the month of February, let's look at this week, going to Saskatoon for the Kinsman dinner. Eddie Belfour will be there, despite last week's unfortunate incident in Kentucky. I'll be part of that program along with Marty Brodeur, Grant Fuhr, Bernie Perrant, Glenn Hall, Brett Lawther. That's this week, Thursday, Friday in Saskatoon.
Yep.
Saturday, the Rush have the Colorado Mammoth there. I don't miss the Rush game, so I can't wait for that. Then next week, I have a Recovery Hour show here that we're very excited about that program on recovery. Then I'm going to Vegas for 4 days with my brother.
You should do the recovery after Vegas.
Yeah, no kidding. To watch the Golden Knights play the Blues and the Islanders. So I'm excited about that. So I don't know how much time I'll have to watch the XFL.
Yeah.
I'm not going to break an ankle trying to tune it in, but if it's on and I'm around a TV, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I think sometimes the reason you have me on the show is just to poo-poo on everything. And so I'll put things...
That's why I have you around in my life. It's not just on this show.
Perspective here, because that's what I tend to do so
You poo-poo
well.
everything.
Well, that's because there's a lot of poo-poo out there that's dressed up as ice cream. And people take a big scoop of it. Ice cream is like, oh, this is poo-poo.
Yep.
It's French.
It's Greek, actually.
Poo-poo?
But, yeah.
Okay. Remember that other league that they had last year?
The Alliance of American Football.
Poo-poo of American poo-poo, right. And it was, I love analogies. I'm not good at them, but I love it. So it was lipstick on a pig, right? Because all the good players are in the NFL. The great players are in the NFL, and the good players are in the NFL too. The kind of like, okay, players, some of them are on the practice squad too. And no NFL team's giving those guys up. They're, all right, guys. And the next level of guys, but you know what? They're not really NFL players, but they're really good athletes. They're in the CFL making money. So what's left is, and I'm being very, very generous here, are the pigs, right? And the A-B poo-poo of American whatever that failed was lipstick on a pig.
I think it's still better than senior football.
What the XFL is doing is wiping that red lipstick off that pig and putting blue lipstick on it and saying, look at this brand new model. It's beautiful. No, it's the worst football players you've ever seen on TV. You haven't seen football players that are this bad on television since the AB failed league, whatever it's called. These football players are bad. They are not good. They are working, last week they were working at Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever. 2 or 3 players per team played in the NFL, but you want to know why they're not in the NFL anymore?
Because
they're good enough.
Because they're bad dudes?
They're not good enough for one reason or another.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know what people are expecting here. If they're going to expect anything but the lowest level of football you've ever seen on TV, that is what you should expect. So don't come here and complain and say, oh, it wasn't that good. There's going to be some plays made.
If I may, and everybody's singing in line from the Church of Abu, and that's cool. JR in Cranbrook says, Abu speaks the truth. Jade Graham writes in and says, preach, Abu, it's the truth. Well, I'm going to tell you that a Tuesday night NHL run-of-the-mill game between the Penguins and Red Wings is poo-poo as well. I enjoyed watching the Alliance of American Football. I knew some of the guys in the league, so there's that. And in the XFL, Marquise Williams, former Rough Rider, will be in it. And I understand he's not the creme of the creme, but do you not like watching pro football? Even college football?
I'm going to watch it if it's on, but I watch for 2 minutes. I'm like, wow. But Rob, you forget, I watch the football, not the cheerleaders and the dancing robots.
So do I.
Come on, man.
Continue.
It's like saying I watch hockey the same as you do. I don't. Yeah, I do. I look at it with my eyes.
Continue.
No, I'm noticing the football, and you notice how bad it is. Remember watching an '80s football movie where like none of the jerseys fit, or J.J. Watt on Saturday Night Live this week. None of the jerseys fit. That drive you nuts. You know, it's not the caliber of football that you're used to. And are you spending $250 a seat to go and watch this?
I don't
game?
have to. I'm talking about watching it on television.
For free.
Right.
For free.
So the league won't be around very long because...
No, for sure. But I mean...
You're not paying $250.
We don't watch it the same as you do, and that's fine. That's its own thing. But there was a lot of excitement in some of the things that they're going to do to try and make this XFL different. When they had the rules all get announced, and the overtime rules are going to be different, and the point after touchdowns are going to be, and they've done some different things. And my first thought was, oh, it's going to be like a circus. But then you start looking at some of them, it's like, I'm pretty interested to see what that looks like. And that's great. And so I'm sitting there being like, okay, I want to see what this looks like. And as long as the games are competitive, and we're not seeing just drop passes and mistakes. As long as it's competitive, as long as it's competitive and it looks good, it's going to be really exciting. But over the last 3-4 weeks, I've been I haven't heard a thing about the XFL. And if they're starting on Saturday, I haven't heard anything. So I've lost all momentum and interest in getting excited when I was really excited when those rules were announced.
You liken it to a circus, and that's perfect. You go to the circus, and you're like, man, look at that juggler, a clown. There's a lady with a beard. Look, there's a big fat guy. I was going to make fun of someone, but I won't. There's all these things, and then you get in there, and you sit down, and you start watching, and for 2 minutes in, you realize all those lions are being abused. That elephant is dead and walking. You realize how horrible of a circus, because there's no more bearded lady and fat guy, and
you pull back the curtain,
and that's what you see, and that's what the XFL is going to do. Am I going to watch? Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to watch next week. I'm going to watch the week after that. I'm going to realize that I need a break, and then 2 months later, I'm going to tune in wondering where the XFL is, and I'm going to come in here on Monday. You'd be like, oh, you didn't hear? They closed down 2 months ago. I'm like, oh, okay.
I think that you got to at least appreciate this as far as the caliber of the game goes. I watch the NHL. My favorite brand of hockey is junior hockey, but the other night TSN had on an American Hockey League game between Syracuse and Laval, the Montreal Canadiens team. And I'm like, this is awesome. I enjoy it at every level, and that's something that got passed on from my dad.
And that's something that I'm saying. I can enjoy it.
But
you can, right? You can, right?
The thing for me,
you watch it differently. You're watching for different things. You don't need the end-to-end flashy, Sidney Crosby. You're watching that gritty defenseman.
Who's got skill? Who doesn't? Who's playing tough?
I'm watching Lawrence Tardif, whatever. I'm watching him play. I was watching number 72 get his ass handed to him in the first half by Bosa, and man, Drew Green said, "Hey, watch." Drew Green was a turning point for the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes, watch that tackle is getting worked. And he was getting worked. And like that drive, they started chipping him. They started helping him out. And what happened? Boom.
All of a sudden.
Touchdown.
You're not the only one that doesn't think that the XFL is not going to work, right? We're not the only ones sitting here thinking that in 6 months it's going to fold. So what I want to know is how big is the ego of Vince McMahon and how big is his checkbook? Because he's done it once and it's failed. So he's not going to bring it back to let it go 6 months in. So is he willing to lose money for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Two. So
I'd go in it.
There's a big thing to be said about
2.
that. Even if nobody's showing up, even if the ratings suck, I don't think this will be done after 6 months just simply because of his ego.
I think so too. Is there a space? Yeah, there's probably is a space. Not like an NFL, but there's a space there. And it's going to take, you got to get through the haters. You got to get through me being, oh, look how horrible this football, look how bad it is.
Yeah.
And then once you get through, you accept how bad it is, and it is what it is. It's like me sitting through, watching NHL my whole life and then sitting through a WHL being, look how bad that guy is, look how bad that guy is. They're kids. Of course it's going to be not as good as the NHL. Of course it's not going to be the NFL. But I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what watching, we're not talking like A is NFL, then the practice roster, then the CFL. We're talking like D or E league here.
But you're right. If they
we're talking CIS, a little bit better than CIS.
If they try and compare themselves to the NFL or try and be the NFL and think they're going to compete with the NFL, especially right out of the gate, they're going to fail.
I want to interject some comments from the viewers. Randy is watching in Mazatlan, Mexico. He says the IHL folded, but the NHL adopted the shootout. So I love the rules of the XFL. They have 1, 2, and 3-point converts. So if you're down 9 points with a minute to go, you could still tie the game. What are you wrinkling your nose up? That's exciting stuff. I
don't like that. That's fun.
I like it.
Yeah, but that takes some of the. You shouldn't be able. 9 points is a field goal, and a touchdown, is a converted touchdown and a and a safety.
Rouge, yeah.
Is a 2-point converted touchdown and a rouge. Like there's different ways to make up 9 points. And it's two scores. It's 2 possessions. Managing a clock is very different in sports. when you can score 9 points in one. And I don't like that, but I'm all for trying it out in this weird league.
Sean in Saskatoon says the most expensive ticket is $108. It's in Tampa Bay. Chris in Southern Ontario says, I'd much rather watch reruns of Rider games I PVR during the offseason than another new league. How about watching them all? Is that so crazy? You know, I mentioned that I sit for hours on end and watch the NFL coverage on Super Bowl week, which I do. But come Saturday afternoon, I'm tired of it going, who are these scrubs? I want to see Kurt Warner and Mooch and Michael Irvin. But I kept watching the NFL coverage on NFL Network. And then by Sunday afternoon, when they had Kurt Warner and Mooch and Michael Irvin, I was played out. I put on Dateline. I'm like, I'm tired of it by the time they got the good guys on.
Yeah. Takes a while to get there.
But took far too long.
Not as many partners' wives are as tolerant of watching sports as your wife is.
She's good.
I remember when I got married, I had to give up watching a sport because you like spending time with that person.
Yeah. The first time around, I had to give up sports watching. The second time around, she's good with it. She's fine. She knows where I am.
It's a good feeling, I'm sure.
Going to be watching television all weekend. I'm telling you, for those that missed off the start, Battle of Alberta, Super Bowl coverage, NFL honors, a Pats game. I am like a pig in slop.
Yeah, I'd say
couldn't be happier.
Get your ass off the couch in February.
Yeah, it was cold this weekend
start
too.
Losing some of that December, January weight. I'm just saying to me, I'm saying I don't need to be sitting around all day on Sundays for the rest of my life. Give me like an off season so that I can work off some of those Cheetos and wings.
I know. Well, it's somebody said to me last week. It was my brother's mother-in-law, if you will, at a birthday party. She goes, "It's hard to lose weight in the winter." She was referring to me, not herself. I'm like, damn it, yes, it is.
It's biologically. You're not.
Is it biologically?
Your body wants to pack on some. It's cold, so it wants to pack on. Wear an extra layer.
Thank you. So I don't feel so bad.
You don't remember. You don't realize in September, October, you start craving pizzas and like pies and
I always do.
Salads and
That's subconscious, like caveman stuff.
Now it's right up on the front of your conscious too. Get woke here up on the Rod Pedersen
Sports Update. And by the way, this is what's fun. We had to go to that commercial break earlier when somebody unplugged the camera.
It was Jay French.
Jason French unplugged the camera. So we're just going to keep rolling because we're not behind on a break, right, Clark? Oh. Okay, well, he's telling me to go to a break now. So we'll come back with a sports update. Justin Dunk checking in too because CFL bidding season's underway. We need to get back into that. Riders have signed Cameron Judge and Jacoby Cofield, 2 big signings, but don't think that they're going to be able to sign them all. We'll talk about that and more when we come back. It's the Rod Pedersen Show, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.